Hey everybody, good Thursday afternoon. We are almost at the weekend. I don't know about the weather where anyone else is, but here in Massachusetts, we are in for another snowstorm. They're saying 4 to 8 inches where we are, maybe a little less down towards Cape Cod. But I hope it just comes. I hope we get some warm weather after, get it melted, and get this winter out of here. But anyways, today I want to talk to you about some childhood memories and some things that mean a lot to me. But first, I'm going to give you a little background about myself. I was born in Plymouth, Massachusetts, raised in Plymouth, Massachusetts. I'm what people call a native Plymouthian. Been in Plymouth all my life, and it started back in 1967. I was brought home to, I believe I was brought home to an apartment, which happens to be right down the street. I'm basically living back in the neighborhood that I was first born into. My first home was an apartment, like I said, right down the street. My second home was in a part of Plymouth called Manomet, and we lived there for about 6 years. And even though we only lived there for 6 years, I think we moved in when I was in kindergarten, and then we moved out of that home when I was in 6th grade or just entering the 7th grade. So that's 6 years. And then we moved to an area of Plymouth called Chiltonville. And I lived there, into my 20s. So anyways, back to the home in Manomet. It was a 3-bedroom ranch, living room, kitchen, eat-in kitchen, smaller ranch, but when we're kids, things seem so much bigger. The houses seem bigger, the yards seem bigger. It was my brother and I, and my dad and my mom. I have shared in another video that my parents divorced when I was a little girl. My brother and I, we played outside a lot. We had a lot of good, happy memories playing outside. Whatever fun we made, we spent the whole day outside. We didn't have cell phones. We didn't have video games. We went outside and we played, and we were barefoot, and we rode our bikes, and some neighborhood kids would come over. We went to school, came home, changed into our play clothes, did a little homework, and went outside until it was time to come in. Went back outside until it was dark. We just were always outside. Yes, we had toys and games, but we just had a good childhood as far as the good old days. The good old days before cell phones, before cable TV, anything. So we lived there, like I said, until 6th grade. We moved to Chiltonville, another ranch home. This one was a little bigger. And my mom and my stepdad still live there. And my mom married my stepdad when I was 11, almost 12. So anyways, although we only lived at that house in Manomet for 6 years, that house holds so many memories to me. Just happy childhood. And as difficult as things were, with my dad leaving and my mom being a single parent and having to work, she worked the 11 to 7 shift overnight most of the time, and people would babysit us. Someone would come stay at the house while we were asleep, or we'd go to my grandfather's house. Then she went to a day shift job, and I can remember going to babysitters' homes in the morning before school and after school. But as a single mom, my mother did a good job, and I've become a single mom with my kids, and I can say that everything I learned about being a single mom, I learned from my mom. So anyways, back to the house. We rode our bikes, There was the ocean down the street. I remember going down there a lot with my brother while my mom slept during the day after working all night. And we'd be, like I said, we'd be gone all day. And back then, it was safe. You can't trust your kids to be out playing by themselves while you're asleep now. Anyways, on top of the roof of that house in Manomet, there was, my mom had a ceramic squirrel and a ceramic cat on the roof, and she had them situated like they were chasing each other. And I don't remember if my mom put them up there or if my dad did before he left, but they were always on the roof, this cat and squirrel. And when it was time for us to move to Chiltonville, that's one thing that my mother didn't take to the new house, was the cat and the squirrel on the roof. And through the years, I would reminisce. I would go for rides and reminisce and go by that house, and I would always see the cat and squirrel on the roof. And as I got older, in my teens and my 20s, I would look at the house, and it just looked like the house was shrinking and the yard was shrinking. But it wasn't. It was just my perception. As I got to be an adult, you see things as they really are. And I went by it recently, this past weekend. I went out to lunch with my dad, and we drove by the house. And it just, like I said, the yard is so small, like a postage stamp. And I shared with him a story about this house that I'm going to share with you. And it's about the cat and the squirrel. Like I said, the cat and squirrel were always on the roof whenever I went by, and my mom left it there. I want to say about 15 years ago, in between 15 and 20 years ago. I can't remember if I had my son yet, but that's neither here nor there. One day, I drove down through Manomet reminiscing, not just about the house, but about neighborhoods, stores that we went to as a kid, White Horse Beach. And I made my way down to the house one day. And I pulled up in front of the house, and there was a boy and a girl playing in the yard. And it so reminded me of me and my brother. They were playing in the yard, whatever they were playing. I sat in my car and I watched. And then they noticed me. And they looked, and they went in the house. And they came back out, and the mom, well, the woman of the house, came out, and she just stood on the porch with the kids next to her. So I got out of my car, and I walked up to the yard a little bit. And I said, "I'm sorry." I said, "I'm just reminiscing. This was my childhood home." And she was like, "Oh, just talking to me." And I told her how the boy and the girl reminded me, seeing them play reminded me of me and my brother. And I told her that I'd lived there, and the stories, parents divorcing, and then I lived there with my mom. And we got to talking, and she was telling me about the house, how they really enjoy it. And then I asked her, I said, "I noticed up on the roof, the cat and squirrel are gone." I said, "Whatever happened to the cat and the squirrel?" And she looked at me and she said, "I have them in my garden." She said, "You can have them." I said, "No." I said, no, you like them. They're in your garden. It's just a childhood memory. I was just wondering, but I was hoping no one threw them away. She says, "No." And she brought them to me. I'm going to share with you what I have in my possession on my lap. I have the squirrel. The squirrel's a little beaten. He's missing a leg. As of this morning, his tail was off, but I plugged in my glue gun before work, and I glued his tail back on. And the only thing that's really missing is this leg or paw. But this is the squirrel that was on the roof. Okay? And the cat. This is the cat. This morning, I glued his tail back on, and I glued an arm back on, and he's missing this arm or leg or paw or whatever. And this is the little hole there that my mom put a nail in the roof and put it on. And I'm going to tell you what, this cat and this squirrel, and there's the hole for the squirrel, these things stayed up there through storms, through hurricanes. I remember the blizzard of 78. I don't know if anyone else from the East Coast or even Massachusetts remembers the blizzard of 78. Stayed up there through that. Hurricanes. And the cat's pretty weathered. And again, now that I put the tail on and the leg, the only thing that's missing is this arm. He's kind of dirty. And surprisingly enough, I don't know if you can see, but the squirrel is still kind of shiny. The squirrel's got a really shiny head. So even though, the tail was off and I had to glue it, the finish on it, I'm really surprised. I am holding a childhood memory in my hand. And what are the chances of me stopping at the house and seeing a boy and a girl in the yard and have the mother come out and me ask her what happened to these? And she had them. And she asked me if I wanted them. And you know what? I am so thankful that I said, yes, I'll take them. My plan is to find a clay shop or ceramic shop and see if someone can fix the legs, the missing legs. There's the kitty's face. And the kitty was always on the roof like that. And the squirrel was always right behind. Or maybe it was this way. I don't really remember. But I remember them always being on my roof. And the cat's weathered. I don't know what you would do, but I don't know if I'm going to wash them and refinish them. I think I'm just going to fix the legs, missing legs on the squirrel and the cat. And I'm going to display them somewhere. I just wanted to share this with you. And I hope that you can feel my joy and the pride I have in these two weathered, broken ceramic pieces. How proud I am to be holding them. Sorry. Because I hold my memories, my childhood memories, even in the bad days. I hold them so dear to me. So I just wanted to share this story with you. I've been wanting to for a while. Just one of the things I want to do in my channel is all this joy that I have in me through the years, through tough times, through good times. These things mean so much to me. And I am so happy not only to have them, but to share this story with you. And I'm hoping that you all have happy childhood memories. I'm hoping that if you have some bad memories, that you can move past those, because as many childhood good memories that I have, they were scary times, they were tough times, but I've been able to move past them. I've been able to forgive. I've been able to look at life in a different way. We are human. We make mistakes. None of us have never fallen short in any way. We have one life to live, and we need to be happy. And we need to find things like squirrels and cats that make us happy. It's simple things like that. But something that might be so simple to you is huge to me. God bless you all. I hope you have a good night. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.